and burning interest in Goa. All of our leaders here have been involved in some way or the other in advocating the solutions to those problems. One is from the time when I was the External Affairs Minister, this matter had arisen then. This is more than 10 years ago. This matter had arisen then, and I am very shocked and surprised that this matter has not been settled, despite the anxiety it causes to succeeding generations of Goans. And that's about the dual citizenship and the OCI card. A solution has to be found. This matter may have been hanging fire because India does not have a dual citizenship policy vis-a-vis the diaspora that we have in different parts of the world. And there may have been very good reasons why we came to this conclusion. But there are very specific issues and problems with the people of Goa, which has been a matter of great anxiety. And therefore we believe that this is something that should be settled as quickly as possible, not to make any political fallout from this, but just as a service to the people of Goa, this should be settled. There are different ways in which this thing and the problems that arise can be settled. One, of course, is a choice. If a choice is to be made by a person who has, for reasons of law, has two citizenships potentially, one of India and one of Portugal, would it be possible to choose one or the other, depending on circumstances in which we find ourselves and we find our family, and have no implications on OCI? I think the majority of people have indicated that they prefer a dual citizenship. As I said, it will have to be an exception from anything that Government of India has done. But be that as it may, let a decision be taken, and let a decision not be taken in terms of elections coming, elections not coming, but as a right of the people of Goa. Let a decision be taken whether it is dual citizenship or it is facilitating the use of OCI card in case the choice is made. But I don't think that we should force the choice on the people of Goa. Facilitate them to make a choice that is in their best interest. Now, I'm given to understand that the Chief Minister, Dr. Pramod Sawant, had visited Delhi, but he only managed to pitch this to the Minister of State. This is a larger problem, and I think that he should have sought a meeting with the Foreign Minister, External Affairs Minister, to try and sort this problem out.
You spoke about the dual citizenship issue.
About?
When you were then as a minister, you have taken up this issue of.
It had started then. The discussion had started then. It was just simmering, but it's boiled over since then. And when we were looking at it, the proposals were just beginning to come, and the issue of dual nationality was obviously up front. But so was, let's solve the problem. Let's solve this issue. One way or the other, let's solve the issue. And therefore I use the word surprised that 10 years have passed and the issue is not resolved.
What made you not make the policy? What takes you
I didn't. There were many foreign ministers before me, and the policy was made then. But if I want to understand why, it used to come up, or often it used to come up in the discussions on South Africa, where there is a very important Indian diaspora, and from Gandhiji's time they have been in South Africa, and we were told from very, very important sources that giving dual nationality to Indians in South Africa will create a greater gap between them and the rest of South Africans, whether they were the blacks or the European community who were staying there. And that for greater integration and involvement, they must not be seen as separate from them. They must be seen as part of the South African community. And that's why the decision about not having dual nationality was sustained and continued. I wasn't the first one to take that decision.
But as a former foreign minister, external affairs, and as a legal expert, do you feel dual citizenship?
Another very important pressing issue that you have is, surprisingly, across the country we have reservations for different categories of people. There are reservations in those different categories also of SCs and STs, scheduled tribes. But although Goa has a long legacy of scheduled tribes, that reservations to scheduled tribes have not been considered in Goa. And the meetings that have happened, I'm told that the meeting the Chief Minister had with the Home Minister did not throw up anything. Now I understand tribes as we know them in the rest of the country, but also some communities who may be even more in a state of suffering than our traditional idea of tribes, etc. And Mr. Sadin will speak about that. He has taken up cudgels for some communities, and I think the idea of social justice in totality for everyone, but particularly for people we recognize as tribes, is a matter of some great urgency. This is being done on a large scale in the country, where the surveys are now taking place and census is taking place, and I think that the perspective must be applied to the people of Goa. There is then a very long-lasting Madi water dispute, on which there was what dispute tribunal set up after an all-party meeting with our Prime Minister Dr. Manmohan Singh. Nothing seems to have happened, despite the fact that a major chunk of the time there was a BJP government at the centre, NDA government at the centre, a NDA government in Karnataka and an NDA government in Goa. Yet nothing has come of it, and this can only be resolved with the centre taking a proactive interest, particularly when they have control or they have association with governments in the state levels. Easy subject. Even your OCI cards are not an easy subject. You know they have exceptions. OCI cards have the exception that they won't be given to people who are in Pakistan who were born in India, right? But there are good political reasons. I hope one day in the world, these political reasons that create little gaps between us and other communities will disappear, will go away. I hope one day that will happen. But today the reality, ground reality is that we have to respect it. This is a decision taken by our elders, this is a decision taken by our predecessors, and it seems to be continuing to work. Therefore, we haven't moved beyond those decisions.
But can centre do it? Whether it may be your government or whether the president.
Whoever has to do it is the centre has to do it. The present centre has done many things that we didn't do. And we didn't want to do. They've done it. So if they can do that, they can do this as well. Nothing stops them from doing this if they can do many of the other things that they've done, and they proudly proclaim that we've done those things.
Sir, in Jagdish